click on that recording button. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back. Alexandrian Codex, Stardew Valley. It is October 18th, 2018. For some reason, just been really spacey since, really all day today, I guess. Just about all fucking day. And, had a fun day at work. Pretty easy. I was surprised by people from a pretty well-respected, renowned game developer. Not doing so hot in our room, which is, you know, fine. Your performance in a game means very little about you as a person, or how intelligent you are, or clever you are, or anything else. It's just always kind of amusing when game designers don't do well at your game. I think we had the developers of Myst play our game at one point and lose, which was a cathartic experience for our owners. What the fuck are we doing? Okay, I'm waiting for the golden pickaxe. I felt like there was something else going on. Nope, not that I can recall. Let's just go cut down the forest and waste our time on that. Yeah, so that was pretty enjoyable. But I don't know why. I've just been super spacey. I didn't hit my marks right at all today. The timing of certain jokes, or I don't know. Just feel off. Part of it might be that my partner is starting tomorrow. Gonna be out of town for a few days. Oh, it's always weird being on my own now. I'm too cohabitative at this point. Then my last group of the day, I only had 2 teams today. It was a very slow, very easy day. We're like an hour early. Luckily, it was a super quiet day, so I could facilitate them hanging out in our lobby, and I was able to entertain them that entire time. But goddamn, I was not prepared for that. Not mentally or energy-wise prepared for that. The damn thing is, of all the staff I talked to today, I was the most awake and energetic, and I was forgetting, and still am forgetting, pretty common vocabulary words, so I don't know what the fuck is going on, but Seattle's having a hell of a time. You know, just about everybody got sick over the last month or two, and they're coming off of that. And there's a lot of small projects going on at work right now, which are pretty exciting, and other people's jobs as well. Quite a few folks have been moving in the last couple of months. Still, it can feel a bit ominous. It's a bit ominous. I was thinking about just hopping and playing more RimWorld tonight. I've been enjoying it. I mean, it's... At one point I was out, so I played kinda to celebrate that. It's fundamentally the same game. I played it to death, and I'll keep the 1.0 game going for a while. I might slowly start modding it. But like, I have hundreds of hours in that game, and there's some solid replayability, but there's enough new stuff in it right now to keep it fresh. But once I start getting to memorize everything, it'll get formulaic and I'll get jaded again. This is just play cycles for me. This is just how new games work for me. I'm excited about them at first, then I tear them apart and grow to learn how they work, and then I become jaded and disillusioned because I'll find problems or frustrations with the design, and then I tend to let my feelings of negativity overwhelm those of positivity and get carried away with my frustration with regard to the things that I don't find ideal, and then eventually get kind of turned off and playing it for a long time, but then I'll come back to it months later or years later and be like, oh yeah, I remember being excited about this, and then go through the whole cycle again. it's just easy to do. It's very easy to do when I don't think I'm a particularly okay. I don't think I'm an abnormally intelligent person. Like I have a decent eye for design, critique, and things of that variety, but not of any particular importance or exaggerated quality. I think I'm just, you know, remarkably unremarkable in that regard. I would honestly describe most people as being. But damn, I do get jaded pretty fast about things. I do get very excited about things, and then very turned off on them pretty quickly. Yeah, it's really a pity I'm not more hyped about RimWorld being out. Good for Tynan. The dude deserves accolades for like a 5 or 6 year development cycle, going through Kickstarter. Was there a Patreon? Being a really early Kickstarter game. It even went under a different name at first. Became a cult classic. God, I remember when RimWorld looked like shit. I mean, more so than it does now. I remember baby RimWorld, where there was... or raids were still being introduced. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy seeing it actually come out. For years it just felt like the game would be in development forever, and that would be okay, but it's exciting to see Tynan freed and able to move on to new projects, because Lord knows, going to school for 5 or 6 years was draining enough. I can't imagine working on literally one project day in, day out for that long. It is admirable. I'm not gonna have time to turn in these bits to Gunther today. Well, we'll do it tomorrow. We have to pick up the pickaxe anyway. We'll be over there. Yeah, that should work out fine. That should work out just fine. I don't really have any goals for Stardew today. Truthfully, I'm primarily playing because I gotta keep that backlog going on YouTube. Though, admittedly, this is a wildly unpopular series on YouTube because Stardew, like RimWorld, had a heyday. It did, and that's past. But this is just really relaxing to play. That's really all I got. It's really relaxing. I have been somewhat hungrily eyeing a new processor that comes out in like 2 days, Monday, 19th, 20th? God, I can't remember. Doesn't matter. With respect to being able to more smoothly play some Paradox titles. Paradox titles, if you want them to run super quickly while recording them, it's really the while recording and streaming thing that's kind of an issue. If I'm playing even a heavily modified Star Trek New Horizons mod for Stellaris, if I'm doing that off stream and not recording, game runs so much faster. But because it's CPU intensive and recording and streaming also CPU intensive with my setup, and yeah, I know there's other setups I could use, but just let me have this. Yeah, I've been eyeing different processors for like about 6 months now, trying to figure out what the hell I want to do to make that a less frustrating experience for me. But the game is great. The mods are great. It's always really exciting to play them. But it's such a shame to get all hyped up and excited about playing and convince myself to start a new campaign and then just have the game's performance grind down my enthusiasm. It's like a fucking mill to flour, or mill to wheat into flour. I don't mind turning into salty, bitter Alex. I like that guy, he's pretty amusing, but I don't want it to be so quickly my default. And now, as I understand it, Surviving Mars, it's an excellent board game. I own it. There's a number of expansions I don't own that are pretty exciting, but Surviving Mars just was made into a virtual electronic board game? Is that what they're called? Whatever. The PC version of the board game was made. And so far as I can tell, it plays exactly like the classic board. Well, calling it classic isn't exactly fair. Like the board game. And I have some temptation to check that out and play it. There's a solo mode in the game that has some pretty solid replayability. Basically, you have a certain number of turns to completely terraform the planet. If you do, then you can set a high score, and then you basically compete with yourself from there on out, just trying to one-up yourself and one-up yourself. And that seems like niche enough, fun enough that I could get into it for a little while. I don't know. Especially after after Pathfinder Kingmaker, seeing how kind of buggy and not ready for honestly, not ready for release that game was and is still. I mean, it's better, but it's still not in a perfectly stable state. I've been a little turned off to picking up too many titles. Yeah. I don't know. It's completely understandable to release a product if you're running out of funding, and you know what, you just gotta get it out of the door. But I wish it had been a bit more obvious upon purchase that it was effectively still in beta. Not alpha, it wasn't that bad, but like a later beta, not final beta by any concern, because there's been the team for the Owlcat team, I should say, have been doing an exceptional amount of work patching that and maintaining that and trying to support it. And for that, they have my sincere admiration and gratitude. But I mean, the game's still not what I was expecting. And I have played, oh god, at this point 150 hours, something like that. I could pull up the Steam library and take a look, but I don't care enough. I played a substantial amount, but like I've talked about when I've streamed that, so much of that was replay time because I fucked up things with a build, or I misunderstood team composition or class abilities, so I built things wrong, and because there's no respec or re-leveling feature, I effectively just had to start over from the beginning, lest I build in a way that was suboptimal, and the difficulty scaling wasn't made obvious just how difficult it was. I don't like the characters either. It's so many little things about that I just like don't really enjoy. A Pathfinder as a rule set is okay. I think it's kind of silly and redundant and unnecessary, and I guess I don't really understand what it brings to the table in terms of D20 based fantasy tabletop role-playing games. I feel like that genre is pretty fished out, so... Oh shit, no, I didn't want to accept that. No. I feel like that genre is pretty fished out, especially because it is just like a mod of 3.5. I have friends who are fanatically fans of 3rd edition 3.5 and insist that it's the best D&D edition, but it's not. It's just the rules are clunky and not super intuitive for first-time players. And all the nuance of, well, you should always take a level in fire because of herpa derpa derpa. No, 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 no. I get the meta that it's fun to play around and break classes and etc, 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 but to me it's just shitty game design. like shitty class design mostly. Like, it's unintuitive, and it discourages new folks from playing, and folks who understand it get really elitist about, like, how they understand it, or the right way to play, or the most optimal ways to play, and anything that isn't optimal that's suboptimal is abhorrent in some way or another, and just, like, it's a very toxic, the fan base around 3.5, and maybe not Pathfinder, but this is my suspicion. It's pretty toxic, has been my exposure to it. Just truly a shame. Especially the 3.5 fanatics. Or fanboys. Or, see, fanboys genders it too much. Fanatic is a fun word that I don't want to color this negatively, but... Sure, fanatic, fuck it. That's a... impactful, yet vague word. The shit talking about 5th edition that it's too simple, it's too easy, babying things down, and especially those talking about complaining about SJWs. Like, my dude, if you're complaining about something being too concerned with social justice or representation, fair and proper realistic representation of non-cishet white dudes, non-able-bodied cishet white dudes, or characters that act and play like them, like, maybe you should shut the fuck up and not feel like you're entitled to a public voice. It's representation of other voices, other experiences, other perspectives, other narratives are rich and refreshing and fucking necessary for us to have any semblance of a healthy society. Yeah. As someone in tabletop hobbies, is a fan of board games and tabletop games and video games, God, so often I like to think that the genres have moved past the good old boy. It's not even good old boy. Good old boy at least has some sort of sick charm to it. The toxic nerd trope is just like shitty on all ends. And it's really unfortunate that it still holds water to some extent, and some people are so vitally stubbornly invested in the enforcement or reinforcement of that trope. Yeah. I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh, Pathfinder's complicated and confusing, as is. 3.5 is confusing and complicated as is. Pathfinder was trying to clean it up and balance it, make some things not imbalanced, but just imbalanced other things on its own. Its whole 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 91 bottles of beer, or 91, damn it, 99 bugs in the code, 99 bugs in the code. Take one down, patch it around, 127 bugs in the code. It's something along those lines. Trying to smooth out a not so smooth system and streamline it, but then adding in content of your own and trying to balance. It's fucking balance. Game balance is a myth. But it just exchanges one broken meta for another. And, you know, anyone who's a fan of any esports or any competitive game video game, tabletop game, card game, can probably attest to this, right? As much as you might try to, you know, balance things out as much as possible, every time you add new content, you're inherently unbalancing things. And I mean, that's sort of the nature of trying to add something creatively, right? You're adding something new, it's going to react with things in unexpected ways, and it's going to break or unbalance your product. Just normal. I guess I just didn't see the need for Pathfinder. Maybe when it first came out, but in a modern... When there's games like Dungeon World that are... God, I don't want to use the word simplified because it has a negative connotation to it, but streamlined? More intuitive, more easily accessible, readily understandable rules of play and mechanics that don't require an encyclopedic knowledge of the book to play. And you still have more complicated, yet not overly complicated systems like, you know, 5th edition. I don't understand, maybe I just don't clearly see how a 3.5 clone fits into how it carries any water of appeal. Like, the rules are fine, but they feel archaic, and they feel like every time Cora is currently playing a 3.5 or a Pathfinder campaign, and it's her first tabletop role-playing game, and I was like, why are you playing Pathfinder? When she told me, like, it's just really complicated and kind of up its own ass about how complicated it is. Like, its fan base are kind of sometimes, so why is this your first game? This seems like a weird choice, but you know, I've been trying to like walk her through leveling up and walk her through building a character and like mechanically what is rewarded in gameplay, like how you get experience. And she had some really great ideas that didn't fit neatly into the character models, class models. Race wasn't really a big deal, but class models didn't fit in neatly, and the skills, god, the fucking skills list that just goes on a million fucking years. It's just like, I hate how I want this game to be fun for this person that I love, and I'm an intelligent enough person who's read this cover to cover multiple times, and I have a pretty good understanding of the rules, but like, I'm still having a hard time making it fun and interesting for her and not just feel like homework. She's had fun playing Pathfinder, she's playing it tonight in fact, but every time she's come home, she's quotes Gravity Falls, I think, saying, "It's like homework, the game!" She's Definitely begrudged how much time and energy it's taken, and God, it's frustrating for my partner to be playing a tabletop role-playing game, which I'm excited about, but she's playing a system that has some problems, and I'm afraid it might be turning her off to the genre as a whole. I've definitely been like, hey, so you know, not every system's like this, I promise. Like, here's a really fun one and simple one, and yeah. Well, not simple, but fun or intuitive. Not built to reward lawyering. I don't know. Like games that have mechanics that reward you for thinking about what your character wants, or for role-playing, or systems where you don't just get XP for killing things, but for solving problems in creative ways, or coming up with creative solutions, or putting yourself in danger because of your beliefs or desires or whatever else. Like, interesting, exciting, nuanced play. I know I'm complaining about one form of elitist, and I'm just making it very clear that in certain ways, very much an elitist in the opposing camp, in an opposing camp, saying the opposing camp. Like, so many things in our language makes it sound a bit too much like a binary, and that's not true. Am I out of focus, or am I just, like, glowing? A little bit of both? Ah, man. Are you too on me? Oh yeah, you're just too on me. Okay, well that explains why you're looking so ethereal. One of my new lights was pointing way too at me. A lesson that could have been vitally learned by the team playing our escape room today. They were from a local-ish, not locally founded, but local game dev company of some repute. Great repute, actually. And honestly, I have a lot of good puns for it, for their company and game products, but I'm not going to do that for some sense of anonymity. If they had won, I wouldn't be doing this, but because they lost, I'm trying not to say who they were. Fucking talk. Talk to each other. Don't talk at each other, which you did a lot. Don't tell people what to do. Suggest that you might have an idea. Listen to what other people think. Respond positively to new ideas. Don't just sit down and wait for other people to do things. You know, pretty simple things in my mind. I guess not in theirs. Oh, and laugh when somebody makes a joke, even if it's a bad joke, especially if it's a bad joke. As stage manager, there's some really bad jokes that I make. Puns, dad joke level stuff. And it's intentionally bad. It's to diffuse tension and to reassure you that, you know, a lot of people, especially if they haven't played escape rooms before, kind of carry the worry that they're about to be murdered or locked up somewhere and no one's going to hear from them ever again. One, we would not have a sustainable business doing that. Two, we sure have a lot of reviews on Yelp and TripAdvisor, and we're really well reviewed for a place that you're worried murders people, so maybe put a tiny bit of critical thought into that. And just like, come on. If I'm trying to get you talking and laughing and loosened up enough so that once you're in the game, you're doing that with one another, you're having a fun time, you're communicating, you're sharing, you're collaborating, you know, depending on the day, collaborating. But, yeah, not this group, not so much. They ended up barely losing. When a team barely loses, if we have time, and I try to make sure we have time, I walk them through the end of the game, or tell them about any puzzles that they miss, and then let them see the end of the game. If they're close enough, we'll just throw them on extra time, and then let them finish overtime, which is what happened today. Yeah, I mean, they were pretty nice. They were just kind of quiet and slow. Not like slow intellectually, they were very quick intellectually, but they just kind of didn't have a great sense of urgency, which is damning in an escape room or a puzzle room, because really that sense of urgency is a great motivator, a very powerful motivator in helping you make progress consistently, or at all, in helping you move from puzzle to puzzle, stay motivated throughout the room, continue to seek out new ideas and information, continue to, you know, do things to that effect. Once you start getting comfortable, and God forbid bored, which is, you know, in some games definitely on the games, but in our room it's on you if you're getting bored. If you're sitting around not doing something, it's because you're actively ignoring the game. There's always stuff going on. And that's not always the case. There are games out there, and I've played at least a couple, that bottleneck in certain points where there's nothing to do, where one person is doing everything and everybody else in the room just kind of has to sit around and wait for them to finish, those rooms suck. And if you're playing those, you have my sincere, empathy? Not even sympathy. I've been there. Shit sucks. But generally, try to be doing something at all times. Don't watch someone do something, do something. Don't just wait on somebody to finish something that you told them to do. Find something to do while you're doing that, or be thinking about something, or talking about it. So stay active. It's a really simple rule, right? Stay active, communicate, don't be a dick. These are, you know, Alex's guidelines to doing well in escape rooms. Talk, listen, don't be a dick, don't break anything. Always be doing something if you can. If you can't, that's okay. Not ideal, but it's okay. Be nice to the staff. We're ignoring the community center so much. Yeah, I should probably be thinking about that. It would be pretty rewarding, or cathartic, rather than rewarding. It'd be pretty cathartic to put up signs in our escape room saying like, Alex's pro tips. Rule number 1, don't be a dick. Rule number 2, listen to people. Rule number 3, if you have an idea, fucking say something. Rule number 4, read the hints aloud. Rule number 5, always be doing something. Rule number 6, don't break anything. You know, identify the problems you have, work together to solve those problems. It can amaze and disturb me how bad people aren't working together. Especially folks who work together, or are in relationships, or families. It can be astounding. Well, not astounding. No, because I am not astounded. I am not surprised when we have bad teams. Disappointed, saddened, depressed, frustrated. These are more accurate words. Yeah, give bribes, get better hints. Yeah. If you pass me a 20 before your game, now, I can't promise that you'll win. I'll promise that I'll like you more. I won't promise that I'll give you any better hints, but I'll be rooting for you. Is that my price? Is that my price per game? 20? I mean, a 5, I'll be like, hey, thanks. That's like a third of minimum wage, and you were in here for an hour, so like, I appreciate the gesture, but what am I gonna do with this? Go buy a sandwich and then pay for tax out of pockets? Listen, Seattle's an expensive place to live, alright? A 10? Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty fine with the 10. I know I'm sounding like such an ass saying this, but like, it would be like 20 for me to be like, okay, you have my interest. Not just like my passive interest, you have my full interest. You give me anything larger and I will help you. You give me a hundo, you're gonna win this game. You gotta pay me competitive with what I'm already getting, is what I'm getting at. Ain't no 15%. No. United States minimum wage is $7.25, I think. Washington State minimum wage is more than that. Seattle minimum wage is $15 an hour for large employers. For small employers, up until January, it's $14.50? 14 even? $14.50, I think. But come the end of the year, it too will be 15, and I think minimum wage for large employers goes up as well. Minimum wage in Seattle is twice the minimum wage nationally, or federally in the United States. It's not crushing small businesses. They're doing fine. Because there's so much money from our tech industry and because everybody gets paid that much, we actually didn't see a decline since the, it's been a 5 or 6 year long process. Like, it didn't just, like, switch to 15 overnight. It went up, like, 50, 75 cents per year, $1 on some years, over the course of better part of a decade, really. But in that time, we haven't seen a decrease in locally owned businesses, not even in food, or, sorry, they're not called food businesses, restaurants, even tip, businesses that primarily have tips is a major part in how they pay their employees a livable wage. The way that that works is you need to make 15 an hour, including tips. So if you get tipped less than 15 an hour, the boss man has to pay you out of pocket. So surprisingly, it hasn't hurt small businesses. It's actually benefited quite a few. Small businesses like ours have actually benefited significantly from more people having access to more money, having more money so they can, you know, pay rent and survive. Did I just pick up that crate? Ah, that's a shame. That would have been really cool if I just picked that up. Alright, we're done. Reached the bottom of the mines. And now I'm going right back in to get copper? I mean, really I want coal, so 60? Yeah. Iceland. Because this is where you find the little dudes. What? I think my starting wage when I moved to Seattle was like 13, 15 hours, something like that. Yeah, I'm putting off so many things. Talking to the dwarf, working on the community center, doing anything but just slowly improving my tools, but we'll get around to it. The dwarf's awfully sad, just hanging out here, all by himself, not talking to anyone. Isn't he the last of his species, too? Pretty dark. Yeah, it's, I gotta say, yeah, I don't know why the hell my brain's not working well today. I slept, I've eaten well today, I've gotten out, I've worked, I've just, no, my brain is just very fuzzy today. So I don't know how much Stardew I want to be playing today. Probably like an hour, maybe two to create a little bit of backlog in case I don't want to stream tomorrow night. Yeah, I can imagine. I think the hardest time I've ever had sweeping was when I was backpacking. My first course in college was a 3-week backpacking trip. And not like on trails backpacking, sort of on trails, but mostly not. It was through wilderness areas in the United States, in Arizona, primarily. Well, entirely, not primarily, entirely in Arizona. And yeah, the first week or so was a real hell trying to sleep properly. 'Cause it's dead silent. Have no idea what's out there watching you. I mean, there were points where we were aware of large cats in the area. Not like large house cats, I mean like mountain lions inhabiting the area near us, and that was pretty fucking terrifying at night. Or hearing distant wolves. Like, I don't want to die. I don't. Well, not wolves, I guess coyotes. Yeah. It's different, I know. Cougars and mountain lions are different things, right? Or are they just two words used for the same animal? Hold on, I gotta... Google! Google, I don't know if this word means what it means. Cougar versus mountain lion. Yep, that's what I want. Mountain lion, puma, cougar, panther. The cat is known by more names than just about any other mammal. Really. The mountain lion is a puma and a cougar. Huh. Okay, yep, same creature. Yeah, I heard them referred to as cougars in Kentucky a lot. But mountain lions on the East Coast and in the rest of the Midwest I lived in, I've never heard them called pumas. That's a shoe company. Or a style shoe? That's a style of shoe. God, I don't know. Listen, I wear shoes made out of hemp. I'm a fucking hippie. Don't at me. I don't understand mainstream fashion. I wear old hoodies, t-shirts, black jeans. I belong in Seattle, okay? I really do. I've dressed to a T the Seattle aesthetic for a long time unknowingly. Like, it's fall, time to wear a beanie and never take it off for 6 months. It's like I was like just getting out of high school when somebody's like, it's like you're from Oregon or something. I'm like, fuck you talking about? Aren't people from Oregon a bunch of lumberjacks? Like, nah, there's a lot of people dressed like you there. They're called hipsters. And yeah, that was the first time and not the last time I've been described that way. That's a hell of a name for a weed. I would not smoke bear rape. I would not. Bear rape is not something I would put anywhere near my body. Sounds fucking horrifying. And like I've had a decent experience with you know, the herb. When I was in school, my friends referred to marijuana as Buddha. It didn't dawn on me at the time just how stupid, racist, and ignorant it is for a bunch of white boys to be referring to a drug renamed in the, 1930s by a fake Spanish name as Buddha, but damn man, that is some cringeworthy shit right there. I mean, is it ain't good? The name like bear rape, what I would expect is just like it utterly devastating you, and not in an enjoyable way. Because really, there's nothing about the phrase bear rape. Really, I'm just trying to say bear rape as much as possible because it's such a ridiculous name. There's nothing about that name that seems in any way pleasurable or enjoyable unless, like, that's your persona and, you know, it's rape play between two consenting adults, then I guess, you know, knock yourself out. But at face value, kind of terrifying. Isn't there some saying about you raise your children so that one day they take care of you, or you're the parent, eventually they turn back into the parent? I guess you're just starting early. I've never had to babysit my parents while they're intoxicated. I've been around my parents while they've been intoxicated. I've drank with my parents on dozens, if not hundreds of occasions. But they've never gotten shitty wasted while I've been around. Am I lying? I don't think I'm lying about that. I mean, I may be wrong about that, but to my recollection, it hasn't happened. Wait. I want to keep this. Donate it. Yeah. He remembers. The boy remembers that you want to keep some of this crap, even if you don't really want to hold on to it. Put that in there. Here. We already turned one of these in, right? Yeah. Go over here. Drop off some of these. Not the sap. Fine. Hallelujah. He ate all my sacks. That is an outrage. God, when I was a teenager and we used to smoke, we just ate horrible food. Horrible food. If only I could cook as well back then as I can now. Best name you've heard is called Fuck the French. That seems like it's a very Canadian brand. Or, you know, it would be British if not Canadian. I don't think that's a brand or a strain name you could get away with. Not a brand name, but a strain name you could get away with in the United States. I mean, you could get away with it, but I don't know. I'm sure. I was about to say we probably have worse names for certain strands in the United States. I'm positive that's the case. Just absolutely positive we must have some fucking terrible names. There's a lot of very strange and cerebral names, which are fine, but I'm sure there must just be some absolute vitriol out there. Alright, back to floor 55? 50? 45? Wow, really? Ice caves go this far back, huh? 40? Jesus Christ, 35. Man, no wonder the ice caves feel like they go on forever. They kinda do. I'm just here for the coal! And the steel, I guess, or iron, because I'm in here. I was super excited when I moved to Seattle too. Well, you know, super excited's a bit strong. I was pretty pleased to have legal, recreational cannabis at my disposal when I moved to Seattle initially. I'll be real with you. I was high for a large percentage of my first 3 or 4 months here. I was drinking local IPAs and ciders, smoking good Pacific Northwest herb. It was nice time, but you know, I mellowed out pretty quickly. And just like, alright, yeah, I take it for granted now. It did not take long for me to just skip to the point where it became a mundane thing. Not trying to take the excitement away from Canada, but for me it lasted like 2 or 3 months. Maybe. I know the fever in Colorado lasted for years. A big part of legalization of cannabis, well, recreational legalization of cannabis in the United States, has been the tax increase, but also it's been a huge source of migration for younger folks, and I suppose older folks as well. And that's why a lot of kids growing up on the East Coast or Midwest or even certain parts of the West Coast made pilgrimages to move out to California and Colorado, Oregon, Washington, stuff like that. Well, places like that, not stuff like that. Isn't Nevada legalized as well? I can't remember. Maybe Nevada's not. God, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But all these kids going like, I gotta go smoke where it's legal. Which, you know, if you're gonna do something, it's probably best to do it where it's legal, but that was a huge unintended side effect, is I feel like the legalization of marijuana has had a noteworthy impact on the housing crisis in the West Coast of the United States. Not, you know, the only thing impacting it, but that and the tech industries and the largely liberal culture. It's basically a lot of people from the rest of the country who are tired of living in the shitty parts of the country are being like, hey, can we move to a place where it's okay to be gay or not white? Or, you know, can I smoke this thing that's not really any more harmful, that's significantly less harmful than tobacco? Can I just, like, can we value public health care and welfare and, like, get people access to basic medical services? Turns out, you put those laws into effect, folks will come running. California's population is decreasing. Isn't its rate of increase decreasing? I don't think as a net it's decreasing, is it? If so, that's first time in a long time. I'm curious. I'll bite. California population over time. Alright. Nope. So, 2016, California resident population was 39.3 million. 2017, it was 39.54 million. And 2018 is somewhere around 39 million. 2018 demographics aren't that accurate, so it looks like it's continuing to go up. A way down has appeared. Yeah. Well, that's good. The rate of decreasing is very important. Population stabilizing is a good sign for a lot of environmental reasons and economic reasons, but also like resource consumption and being able to feed people. I was trying to say feed people, afford people. You know, you really got to get people in cars, I guess. Feed people. Good lord. Give me your code. Give me your code. You didn't have it. Ah, you did. Attaboy. Yeah, you need give or take around 2.1, 2.2 kids. It depends on your mortality rate. And not just like infant mortality rate. There's some other factors I forget. I knew this at one point. I studied, well, this is pretty basic economics, I guess, but I knew this at some point. It's kind of like the question of what's the best unemployment rate. Spoiler for those watching at home, it's not 0%. You want someone to be unemployed because you want those. Okay, depends what system of value we're talking about here. From a socialist system, you want everyone employed who wants to be employed. From a capitalist system, you want people to be unemployed, unhappily unemployed. You want people hungry for a job because then they might be willing to work for a lower rate than your current employees, and you can get rid of people who are about to get benefits and hire on new people who don't yet qualify for benefits. Which is why the population, or the unemployment rate has not really dropped to very low levels in the United States in a long time. Yeah, 3.5% is an often cited number. Another is like 5.6. You definitely don't want anything over 10. Back in the 1800s, there were... God, I can't cite this. There was someone who was saying like 10 to 15 is ideal, but they were kind of a monster. 3.5-ish is commonly accepted, modern-ish. Yeah, in Europe it's around 10. That's insane! But Europe also provides much, well, most of Europe, Western Europe, Northern Europe, provide much better social services than we do in the United States. Actual unemployment rate in the United States varies. So I still follow the fucking White House page on Facebook because I liked it when Obama was in office, and I'll be damned if I'm getting chased out. Basically, I just make posts on every fucking thing that the White House page says, just saying resign over and over and over. And I've done it since the new administration has been elected, so it's been like 2 fucking years of just posting resign over and over and over. Lots of fun. Anyway, there was yesterday? I don't fucking remember. Today, I think, a post talking about Montana having a 3.5% unemployment rate. I'm like, yeah, it's Montana. There are no people there. Very easy to keep people employed if you have a relatively low population, small urban areas, and largely agrarian or resource-based economies. Pretty easy. I don't, Washington's is, our census data in the United States is all out of date. We have a major census coming up soon, but our census data is kind of borked. As the last federal census was 2016? Is that right? No, not 2016. Sorry, 2010, 2012, something around there? Oh my god, I should know this. When was the last federal survey? Federal... It's not called a survey, it's called a... Oh my god, it's named after a book. Census. U.S. Census. When was the last one done? When was the last one done? I can't remember when it was done. When was the last one done? Most recent was in 2010. Yeah, that's right. 8 fucking years ago. So all of the data from that is, yeah, every 10 years. Really, really out of date. As we've, kind of sort of emerged from a financial crisis since then. And I say kind of sort of because some of us really have and some of us really haven't. Bezos has never been looking better, but many of his employees might feel slightly differently about their lot in life, financially, and debt-wise, and their ability to ever own a house, and things like that. No big deal. But yeah, there was a post about Montana having a really low unemployment rate, and the Donald trying to take credit for that. Just like the Donald has for the last 2 years been taking credit for the economic effects of policies laid into motion long before he ran for office. That's kind of the way finances work, is you make new policy, then it takes at least a year to come into partial effect, and then full effect 2 years down the line, maybe. And then you start seeing the ramifications of it like a year or 2 after that. And like some benefits you see immediately, but like the real impact you don't see for a substantial period of time. Let me buy houses. I would like to be able to buy houses. I live in a state with no income tax. So, you know, you can live that dream. You can live that dream. There's lots of other expenses that can keep you from being a homeowner, like the housing market becoming an absolute monster with foreign investors buying up a lot of things, people who own property refusing to develop that property in order to accommodate a growing population, and hyper-competitive nostalgia mixed in with people promoting new construction but being all NIMBY about it. NIMBY being an acronym for not in my backyard. Yeah. Seattle's housing crisis, similar to San Francisco's and Vancouver's, but a little different. Naturally, as it's a different city. It's just a confluence of dumb things that, if only the residing government had a bit more of a strong hand, could be dealt with easily. I recently saw a news article, or not a news article, but an opinion piece about our viaduct. The viaduct is getting torn down, hallelujah, and there was someone crying this. It's like, oh no, this fucking eyesore that slows traffic and isn't very good at transporting people around is being torn down, and it's been a part of my commute for years, and I've always enjoyed seeing the view of the bay from my commute, and it's truly a tragic loss for the community, it being gone. And I'm like, yeah, man, fuck you, because as soon as that viaduct is gone, we can build, oh, I don't know, more businesses, some fucking housing where it is now. Lord knows we need more ground. We need more dirt. Nah, the last time the government tried a strong hand, we won the Second World War. Ring of Yoba. Yeah, I'm assuming that's good. The whole Civil War thing just solidified the role of the federal government as having power. Certainly wasn't the last time that the federal government had power. Oh, it just set a precedent. Okay, well that's an hour of Stardew Valley. Do I keep going, do I not? It's almost 10? Jesus Christ. What has happened to the time? Yeah, we're switching over to Rimworld then. If you are watching this on Twitch, I'ma keep streaming. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is it for today. Until tomorrow. Is that rain? That looked really weird. Is that... Yeah, okay, this is on OBS too. What the fuck? That's supposed to be lightning? Graphics card, you dying on me? Whatever. YouTube, tomorrow, same place, same time, Alexandrian Codex. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, fucking follow, likes, share, subscribe, click the little bell, don't click the little bell. I don't remember how YouTube works now. You know what to do. Until tomorrow, toodaloo, take care, I'll see you then, bye-bye.